Good evening, Zambia. I'm bringing you a comprehensive analysis of one of the most significant legal cases in our recent history, the given Lubinda corruption case that has divided opinion and raised fundamental questions about justice in our democracy. Given Lubinda, former Minister of Justice and current Vice President of the Patriotic Front, stands at the center of a legal storm that continues to evolve. After being acquitted of 4 counts of possessing property suspected to be proceeds of crime, the state has filed an appeal, reigniting national debate. The phrase, "let justice breathe," has emerged as more than rhetoric. It's become a symbolic plea for judicial autonomy in our polarized political climate. Tonight we examine how this case reflects the broader challenges facing Zambia's institutions as they navigate law, politics, and accountability. The case centers on over $200,000 that prosecutors alleged were proceeds of crime, linked to Lubinda's time in public office. Lubinda's defense claimed the funds were part of a legitimate loan agreement with Qingdao Ruchang Cotton Company, a Chinese firm operating in Zambia. The former justice minister maintained his innocence throughout, arguing the transactions were transparent and unrelated to his political role. The case hinges on Zambia's Proceeds of Crime Act, which requires thorough investigation of any unexplained wealth linked to public officials. The Anti-Corruption Commission argued that Lubinda's financial records revealed inconsistencies and lacked sufficient documentation to validate the loan narrative. They further claimed the timing of transactions coincided suspiciously with his tenure in office, raising questions about potential abuse of power. In a ruling that surprised many legal observers, the Lusaka Magistrate Court acquitted Lubinda on all 4 counts. The court found insufficient evidence to prove the money originated from illicit activities, accepting the defense's loan agreement explanation. However, this victory was short-lived, as the state, through the DPP and ACC, immediately signaled their intention to appeal. The appeal, now pending before the High Court, challenges the magistrate's interpretation of financial documentation and the broader context of the transactions. Legal analysts are divided over whether the initial ruling set a dangerous precedent for leniency or properly upheld the principle of presumption of innocence. For Lubinda, the appeal represents another chapter in what he describes as a politically motivated persecution. As Vice President of the Patriotic Front, Lubinda's case has inevitably taken on political dimensions beyond the legal arguments. The seasoned politician has framed the charges as evidence of the current administration weaponizing anti-corruption mechanisms against opposition figures. This narrative resonates with segments of the public who perceive a pattern of selective prosecution, while civil society organizations urge judicial independence. The case has become a litmus test for Zambia's democratic resilience and the credibility of our justice system. In a country where separation of powers is constitutionally enshrined, but often contested in practice, the Lubinda case highlights this delicate balance. Legal scholars emphasize that appeals in high-profile cases are essential for refining jurisprudence, but caution against turning legal proceedings into political theater. The case offers the Anti-Corruption Commission an opportunity to demonstrate its commitment to due process and evidentiary rigor. From an economic perspective, the case intersects with Zambia's efforts to attract foreign investment and improve its international reputation. The involvement of a Chinese company adds geopolitical sensitivity, given China's significant economic footprint in our country. Media coverage has been intense, with headlines oscillating between condemnation and vindication, reflecting our polarized public discourse. The framing of Lubinda as either victim of persecution or beneficiary of leniency underscores the challenges facing objective journalism. In our digital age, the responsibility to present nuanced analysis beyond sensationalism has never been more crucial. As the High Court prepares to deliberate, the nation watches closely, aware that the outcome will reverberate across legal, political, and civic spheres. "Let justice breathe" is not just a slogan. It represents our collective aspiration for institutional integrity. The appeal against given Lubinda's acquittal is more than a procedural challenge. It is a moment of reckoning for our justice system. It invites reflection on the principles of fairness, transparency, and institutional independence that must guide our democracy forward. As we await the High Court's decision, we must remember that the integrity of our democratic institutions depends on our collective commitment to justice. This has been our special report on the Lubinda case. Continue following this story as it develops. Good evening, Zambia.